Okay, guys, good afternoon or good evening. We are going to learn about the types of poetry. Make sure you have your paper ready or your iPad and a pencil. Or if you're writing on your iPad, you don't need a pencil. And please answer the questions that were posted on Haiku. The first type of poem we are going to learn about, or poetry, is lyrical poetry. This consists of a poem such as a sonnet or an ode that expresses the thoughts and feelings of the poet. The term lyric is now commonly referred to as the words to a song. Lyric poetry does not tell a story which portrays characters and actions. The lyric poet addresses the reader directly, portraying his or her own feelings, state of mind, and perceptions. So this is going to be your type of poem that expresses feelings and lets you know as the reader that they're expressing something, how they feel about something. A lot of times, like mentioned, it's your songs. The songs that you hear are lyrical. Here is an example. This poem is called Ode to Joy by Buster Baxter. I've had cabbage, lettuce, blackberries, pasta, oats, and strawberries, bagels, beans, and hot dogs, eggplant, ham, and cheese logs. I've had pumpkin and potato, truffles and tomato, diced, sliced, cubed and riced, boiled and fried, soaked and dried, burgers, tacos, ice cream too, radishes red and berries blue. Despite all this, I'm feeling thinner. Still, that was lunch. Now what's for dinner? So the author, the narrator, is telling you how he feels about all that food he just ate and him wanting to know what's for dinner. And again, ode to joy helps you figure out that's a lyrical ode. All right, the second one is a narrative poem, narrative poetry. This is a form of poetry that tells a story. It often is making use of the voices of a narrator and characters. This type of poetry must rhyme and must tell a story. So when you're deciphering between what type of poem it is, you can go ahead and eliminate some of the other poems and figure out that it's narrative because it has to rhyme and it must tell a story. Let's look at an example. This is Jimmy Goes to the City by Arthur Reed. Jimmy was a happy ape until some hunters caught him. He liked the jungle better than the city where they brought him. The city was louder, the city was meaner, even the dirt in the jungle was cleaner. So Jimmy made a daring escape. The hunters were suddenly minus one ape. He climbed the tallest building because from there he'd see how far away the jungle was from the middle of the city. Jimmy jumped into a passing plane, but the pilot didn't wait for him to explain. Jimmy flew back to the jungle and told his ape friends in the lair, the city's okay for a visit, but you couldn't make me live there. So this ape, Jimmy, is telling you a story about him being in the city. So you may be thinking that this also could be a lyrical poem because it is explaining and letting you know how he feels about being in the city, and you're right. Sometimes poems can be more than one, and that is okay. But we know it's a narrative mainly because it's telling the story about Jimmy, and we have our rhyming words. We have louder, cleaner, escape, ape, plain, explain, layer, there. So those help us know also it's narrative. All right, the third one is free verse poetry. This is very easy. There is no meter, rhyme, or other traditional poetic techniques. So a poet can still use them to create some sense of structure, but free verse basically is poetry that does not have a rhyme. And I think when you see this example, you'll really understand what that is. This is Autumn by Fern. Wind blowing briskly, leaves fall from the trees. We rake colored leaves in a big pile and jump. As you see, there is no rhyme. The rhyming words would come at the end, and none of these rhyme or follow a pattern. So that is why this is a free verse. All right, our last one is humorous poetry. A humorous poem is humorous. It can make you laugh or has witty or silly, nonsensical humor in it. It does not necessarily have to make you laugh, but it's fun too. So this is your type of poem that doesn't tell a story, it doesn't express feelings, and it's not free verse either. Let's look at an example. This is My Teacher Ate My Homework. Oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. My teacher ate my homework, which I thought was rather odd. He sniffed at it and smiled with an approving sort of nod. He took a little nibble, it's unusual but true, then had a somewhat larger bite and gave a thoughtful chew. I think he must have liked it, for he really went to town. He gobbled it with gusto, and he whipped the whole thing down. He licked off all his fingers, gave a burp, and said, "You pass. I guess that's how they grade you when you're in cooking class." And this was by Ken Nesbitt. So that was just a funny poem because do teachers really eat your homework? No. You might think they do, but they don't. So this was just funny. It's just to get you interested and kind of entertain you with a funny story. So I hope you learned about the 4 types of poetry, and be sure you answer all your questions and have your flipped assignment ready for tomorrow so that we can discuss. Remember, flipped assignments are to help you with the activities that we do the next day. It's like me teaching you, but I get to teach you at home, and then we get to apply it at school. So be sure you watch the video and you are ready to talk about the 4 types of poem. Thank you.